Welcome to SD33916 channel. With daily story updates, remember to subscribe. The story begins. In an attempt to make Nathan happy, Sophia once again took my money for the house. I found her to ask for clarification, only to be splattered with mud and water by Nathan in his new car. He was smiling broadly in the car, completely unconcerned, and apologized to me, saying, "Sorry, Ethan, I just wanted to try out the new car my sister bought me." Looking at me covered in mud, Sophia took a disgruntled step back and threw an empty bank card in my face. It's really hard for Nathan to ride his bike to pick me up from work every day, so it's no big deal for me to buy him a car. Anyway, I've been saving for 7 years, and you haven't saved enough to buy a house and marry me, so it doesn't matter if I spend a little money this time. It's just $1 million. Why be so nervous? If you're not even willing to give me this much money, then there's no point in getting married. I picked up the bank card, pushed down the discomfort in my throat, turned around and threw the card into the trash along with the first aid notice. For this money, I did almost lose my life. Sophia was right, it didn't matter if the marriage was consummated or not. As I was about to leave, Nathan rushed up and handed me the clothes he was holding. "Ethan, your clothes are dirty. Change into a clean one. This one was just given to me by my sister, and I haven't worn it yet. It's still brand new, and at first glance you can tell it's expensive." When she held out her hand, Sophia was one step ahead of me and snatched the dress away. She frowned and scolded me for not knowing better. It's such a waste to give him such nice clothes when everyone else is so inconsiderate. "Nathan, you'd better keep them for yourself. Those inferior clothes that cost more than $100 before have rubbed your neck red. It's really painful to look at them." I touched my own clothes and suddenly remembered that it was bought for me by Sophia. It cost $20 for a floor-length item back then, and I couldn't throw it away even if I washed it transparently. After bringing Nathan to the car, Sophia saw me staying in front of the car and honked the horn with some impatience. "Okay, why don't you fight with it's here? Why don't you go and practice more boxing and find a way to make money? I won't marry you if I don't have a house." Nathan listens and says enviously, "Ethan's career is so cool. If only I could box too." Sophia poked his head not too happily and said boxing is too dangerous. "If you're not careful, you can get seriously injured, and you're directly exchanging your life for money." "Nathan, just do as you're told. My sister will pay your salary, and you'll be my little assistant." Although the tone was relaxed, I couldn't help but be moved to tears. It turned out that Sophia knew the dangers of boxing, and even though I was bruised and battered, she never asked me if it hurt. Instead, time and time again, she turned away my hard-earned money. "Yeah, boxing is really dangerous and it doesn't suit you very well." Instead of talking back to Nathan like I usually do, I turned around this time and made way for them. Sophia frowned at me, then turned away. When her car was completely out of sight, I took out my cell phone and called my boss. "You don't box anymore." The boss said it in surprise, then sighed. "Well, you fought hard every day before, never gave up even though you were injured a lot. That fighting spirit made me feel scared. This time it was really a lucky break. Your heart went out while boxing. If it wasn't for the fact that I was holding down the prize money from a few of your fights before, I probably wouldn't have had the money to save you over. Thanks to you this time, I'm going to get a serious job." After hanging up the phone, I received a paycheck from my boss and bought a plane ticket to a foreign country. It was late at night when I opened the door to my house and froze the moment I looked up. The living room was crowded with pink balloons, and a beautifully decorated birthday cake was on the table. Sophia remembered my birthday. I was a little surprised and turned my face to see Sophia, who had little expression on her face. A flash of unease flashed in her eyes, and she asked with dissatisfaction, "Didn't I send a message to tell you not to come back tonight?" I froze for a moment, clutching my cell phone that had died and turned off. So Sophia wasn't preparing a birthday surprise for me. The girl who used to prepare elaborate surprises for me every year on my birthday has long since stopped caring about my birthday. "Sister, the birthday gift you gave me really makes me happy." Crisp laughter rang out as Nathan walked out of the bedroom clutching his gift. Seeing the somewhat rough-looking doll in his hand, my heart tightened and I hurriedly pushed him away and ran to the bedroom to look for it. Sure enough, I didn't find it. In Nathan's hand was a bebe, who Sophia had been holding since she was a little girl. She gave me the doll the first day we finalized our relationship. She said, "I give you my old reliance, and hope you can be my bebe for life and protect me forever. Remember to be good to my bebe." I have always cherished her sincerity to me, and kept the doll well, and it is still as good as new after 7 years. But now, it was taken away by Sophia and given to someone else. I took a deep breath, turned to her and asked, "Do you remember that today is my birthday?" Sophia looked a little surprised, but that put things into perspective for me. Nathan sensed that the mood was wrong and immediately shielded Sophia, as if he was protecting her. I'm sorry, Ethan. If you're not happy, then this present is for you. Happy birthday. Seeing the look of reluctance in his eyes, I sneered, not wanting to accept such a random gift anymore. I don't want anything you've touched. Nathan sadly lowered his head, and Sophia immediately accused me heartily, saying that Nathan was willing to give you the doll. What more do you want? How old are you? You're still spending your birthday like a young man. You can dismiss me as unintelligent. I couldn't help but chill out and take off my original engagement ring and put it on the table. Sophia immediately grabbed my hand and asked me angrily what you meant. I just said, I won't be back tonight. I ignored Sophia's obstruction and stayed in the hotel for the night anyway. But in the middle of the night I started to have a high fever, and it was a struggle to even stand up. There was no way to contact anyone else, so I had to call Sophia. The phone rang for a long time before it was answered, and Sophia's voice was full of anger as she said, You still have the nerve to call. Nathan had a bad birthday today because of you, and now he has a high fever. Sis, the medicine is a bit hot. Nathan cried out silently. Sophia's voice immediately became gentle like water and told Nathan to wait a bit. Sister will make you some porridge first and then blow you on the medicine. The call just hung up. I felt pain and curled up, as if there were little bugs crawling all over my body. In a blur, I remembered that Sophia was a bad cook. In order to feel sorry for her because she was busy with work and her 3 meals were irregular. So even if I was busy I would come home and cook for her. But whenever I was sick, she would sleep separately from me and didn't even want to pour me a glass of water. Why are you so fragile when you're a big man who gets sick? I'm already tired from going to work every day. Can you stop giving me trouble? I felt more and more uncomfortable, and my face was so hot that I couldn't hold on any longer and called 120. Again, I was sent to the emergency room, and the doctors all knew me. You had just been resuscitated earlier and were desperate to be discharged. We didn't agree, but you ended up sneaking out anyway. In your case, who wouldn't stay in bed for a few days? I didn't realize you had a fever again. I smiled, did not say, picked up the phone to see the resume I put out, received a reply to the entry. After agreeing on a date for the induction with the other person, I closed my eyes and rested. It didn't take long before I was woken up by the bed next to me. Just how long will it be before I can be with you openly and honestly? The familiar voice startled me, and I stood up and lifted the partition curtain a crack. The scene before me froze me in my tracks. Without me, Nathan no longer hid his possessiveness, pinning Sophia down, forehead pressed together, insistent on a clear relationship. You're his fiancée, about to get married, so what's between us? Sophia tenderly caressed Nathan's face, her eyes showing deep affection. I've long since stopped liking him, and giving him a name is just because he's been with me for many years, and I feel a bit sorry for him. However, Nathan, don't worry. I said before that I won't marry him if he doesn't buy a house. Smiling smugly, Sophia slowly said that there were 1,000 ways I could make him never be able to afford a house. Those words hurt me so much inside that I had to put down that dividing curtain. No wonder she was so obsessed with the house, and no wonder that every time I was close to saving up enough money, she always managed to find all sorts of reasons to take it away. It turned out that Sophia wanted a house that I could never afford. I felt like a fool, being played for a fool. I smiled bitterly, my heart grew cold, and the last vestiges of love disappeared. Although I didn't say anything, living under the same roof was still discovered. When Sophia saw me, her face instantly turned pale, and subconsciously tried to grab me. Just at the moment when she was about to touch me, Nathan suddenly shouted, Sister, my stomach is not feeling well, I want to eat something. Sophia gave me a hasty look, and then went to get the doctor. After she left, Nathan walked up to me and said in a teasing tone, You really put up with it, you still pester Sophia at this point. After all, she's just an old discarded thing. If you're sensible, you should make way for me. Who are you to show off to me? Is it your boyfriend? I let out a contemptuous laugh, with some disdain in my heart. Nathan blushed with anger and glared at me, his eyes revealing a hint of anger. He suddenly raised his cup and smashed it against his forehead. Nathan! Sophia had just come back, running over with hot porridge in her hand, and pushed me a little. Nathan covered his forehead and blood oozed out between his fingers. Seeing this scene, Sophia immediately turned red. Sister, don't worry, I'm fine. And Ethan didn't throw the cup over on purpose. I shut my mouth tightly and turned my head back as Sophia raised her hand forcefully. The steaming porridge fell on my head in one fell swoop, surrounded by the woman's harsh scolding voice. Ethan, are you really still a man? You always bully Nathan. How can you not know how to correct yourself? Today I'll make you understand. Remember that you have no right to touch the people around me. The hot porridge was as hot as fire, making me feel hot all over. I was in a hurry to tear off the soaked clothes on my body, and ended up accidentally revealing bruises and cuts all over my body. Nathan, you'd better not look. Don't see it make you uncomfortable. You can have nightmares at night. Sophia lowered her head and gently covered Nathan's eyes with a gentle look. I remember the first time she saw my scars. She was in tears as she put medicine on them, and she cried in my arms for a long time that night. Back then she had said, "Ethan, I don't care how much money you make, I just want you to be okay." Unfortunately now, all I could see in her eyes was disgust. Body trembling, I finally tore open my clothes. The bandage wrapped around my chest, which had just been operated on, was also wet with sweat at this time. The little nurse checking in yelled out, and several doctors rushed over to push me out. The patient had just had heart surgery, and was now at risk of infection and could be in danger. Facing the doctor's scolding, Sophia finally panicked. He looked at me helplessly, cold sweat broke out on his forehead, and tried to follow the ambulance, but was held by Nathan. Waking up, Sophia rushed over to me. Seeing her and Nathan still holding hands, I said, "Sophia, we're done." Surprisingly, Sophia didn't take me up on my offer to try to break up peacefully. Nathan was not happy and ran straight out of the hospital. Sophia thought about it for a long time, but finally put me down and went after him. Before she left, she tried to give me a kiss on the cheek. I sidestepped it and avoided it, and her expression looked sad. After a while, she spoke up and said that we've been in a relationship for 7 years, and it's a relationship that no one wants to give up. When we find Nathan, I will give you an explanation. Until I recovered and was discharged from the hospital, she never came. Because of my injury, I postponed my departure, but the company waited too long and finally started to rush me. "I'm leaving tonight. Where are you going?" The door pushed open and Sophia stood panting in front of me, looking a little nervous. "There's a boxing match to attend." I hung up the phone and casually copped to it. "Yeah, I have just the time. I can drop you off." Sophia breathed a sigh of relief and then started to complain. "Why didn't you tell me when you were discharged from the hospital, causing me to make a trip for nothing?" Although her tone was a bit complaining, her face was a warm smile, like she was in a particularly good mood. I shifted my eyes and smiled lightly, saying that I didn't want to bother you because I thought you were busy. Sophia hugged me from behind and started to explain, "I really do treat Nathan as a younger brother. That's why I take more care of him. Don't think too much. Can you forgive me? I even made your favorite dessert with my own hands." Her words were sweet, with an upturn in her tone at the end, and the hem of my shirt was pulled by her. This is a small action she often uses after she makes a mistake, and every time she tightens the corner of her shirt, the anger in my heart disappears when I see her tearful eyes. She knows best how to soften my heart. Without waiting for me to say anything, Sophia answered the phone, and even though she covered the microphone, I still heard Nathan's cries of grief. A big man, now he's learned to cry too. It wasn't until Sophia walked out the door that I turned around and threw away the bad-looking cake she'd brought. I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but Sophia does, so I bring her a piece of cupcake every time I leave work. She invites me to join her for a treat, and even though it tastes so sweet it turns my stomach, I can swallow it without a care in the world, just for fear that she'll be upset. Sophia thinks she understands my preferences, but it's really just because I always give in to her. So I took out my cell phone and called a cab to the airport. I just happened to see Nathan's update on his friend's circle. He was smiling in the photo, holding a plate of beautiful cupcakes, his eyes sparkling with happiness. The voice in the photo was audible. "Sister, where's your badly made cake?" I threw it away. I wouldn't dare to put it here for fear that you, the little fool, would eat it accidentally. "Sister is so nice. Give me a kiss." I gave his friend's circle a like. When we were almost at the airport, Sophia messaged me, "Sorry, I won't be going back tonight. You can go to the game by yourself." Okay. Before I got on the plane, I sent one last message. "I'm not going to renew the lease on the house, so don't forget to move your stuff out early." Then took out the phone card, broke it and threw it into the river next to me. Turned around and got on the airplane. After getting off the plane, I instantly saw the person sent by the research lab to pick me up. The girl came over to me with a smile, coughed softly, and held out her hand to say, "Ethan's senior brother, we meet again. Welcome to the MK Research Lab." Her eyes sparkled with a particularly bright smile. I reached out to shake it before I remembered her. Her name was Olivia, my former schoolmate in biotech graduate school, always liked to follow me around and call me elder brother. But because I wanted to support Sophia's business venture, I turned down my mentor's offer for me to join the research lab. choosing to make money quickly for boxing. I cried for a long time after elder brother left, and I really felt sorry that you didn't continue your research. You had been my idol, and you were able to stay in the lab for so long because of the encouragement of my senior brother. The children gathered around me chattering and expressing their admiration for me, and I gently rubbed her head like I used to. Feelings like that were unlikely now, and I hoped that there would still be a chance to catch up with Sifu. How come? Olivia nodded firmly, saying that elder brother must be great and will become a legend in the research lab again. The look in her eyes wasn't false, it was genuine. I looked down at her, the long suppressed emotions in my heart finally relaxing slightly. Olivia sent me to the dormitory room assigned to me, which had a separate study. On the desk were various data from the research lab, obviously organized with great care. It was a bit difficult to relearn all this knowledge, but it was good that Olivia was always there to help me. A month later, with my new genetic project, I became very popular in the research lab. The research lab decided to send me to China to take charge of a drug collaboration with a company. I was a bit surprised when I received the news from the company. The collaboration company was Sophia's company. I shrugged, casually threw the papers on the table and started packing. We had broken up, and it was only a faint feeling of indifference when we came face to face. Before going to bed, Olivia knocked on my room door and asked me, "Senior, you're getting married?" A little puzzled, I looked at her cell phone and saw Sophia's friend circle. The top entry was a random wedding photo of me and her. "We're getting married. Everyone is welcome to come to our wedding next month." I really couldn't understand Sophia's purpose for doing this, and could only helplessly explain to Olivia that she and I had broken up a long time ago, and that getting married was simply out of the question. Olivia was quietly relieved to hear that, but her eyes unconsciously went to my chest. That's when I realized I had just gotten out of the shower, and was still wearing my open-necked robe. Returning to her senses, Olivia blushed and hurriedly tried to leave, telling me, "Elder brother, you take an early rest. I'm an assistant and will return to China with you tomorrow." We just got off the airplane. The car Sophia sent immediately took us to the company. "Ethan, you haven't seen me for a long time." Sophia saw me and immediately jumped into my arms. I pushed her away, a little cold in tone. "Sophia, we have separated. Today I came to talk to you about cooperation." The icy address caused Sophia's face to show a twist and a hint of exhaustion in her eyes. "Ethan, don't lose your temper with me anymore, okay? I'm tired of looking for you. I know it upsets you that I'm close to Nathan. Is this reaction an attempt to get me to behave and get married? I posted our wedding photos in my circle of friends, so if you want to get married, we can go ahead and do it, and we can take our time about buying a wedding house. Nathan knows that you are also very remorseful after you left and quit the assistant's job by yourself, and now it has developed to this point. Are you still not satisfied?" In the end, she couldn't help but get a little angry. I picked up the document, glanced at Nathan who wrote vice president on it, and almost couldn't help but laugh. Sophia is so rich. What kind of house does she want not have? It's a pity that I can't afford it, and I want to marry you. If you broke up, don't dwell on it. Hurry up and sign the contract, so we can work together quickly. After receiving the contract, Sophia's eyes became cold and looked at me with a hint of a smiling expression. "Contract? You quit that high-paying job as a boxer to do this kind of cold research. At least this will keep me from getting tired and having a heart attack." Sophia shudders slightly, her eyes sweeping over my chest and quickly averting her gaze as if she'd been burned. She lowers her head to sign the contract and I try to leave, just as I'm pulled by the corner of my shirt. "Have dinner with me tonight, let's talk it over." I raised an eyebrow slightly and looked to Nathan, who had hurried to the door, without saying anything. Nathan lowered his head in defeat and smiled harder than he cried. His sister and Ethan hadn't seen each other in a while, and it was only right to get together. Too bad I didn't get a chance to give them a taste of what I cooked tonight. He lifted his Band-Aid covered hand and rubbed his eyes, immediately catching Sophia's attention. "It's Nathan's first time cooking. I don't want him to be let down. Why don't we help him together?" Sophia was a little sad inside, but still didn't want to leave me. Just then, Olivia, who had been standing behind me, suddenly pulled my arm. "We don't need Sophia to entertain us. Ethan and I still want to walk around the school later." Sophia suddenly turned around and narrowed her eyes to take a closer look at Olivia. Then a soft laugh came out of her nose when she looked at me, and she asked, "Isn't this your schoolmate?" "Sophia, I thought that you were joking with me this time because you've become smarter, but I didn't realize that the means to make people jealous is so simple. If you do get together, then you'll be with her when you go to college, and it has nothing to do with me. Don't waste your time trying to compromise me. Have dinner with me and Nathan tonight, and I'll forgive you for leaving without saying goodbye earlier." The last sentence sounds a bit of a warning, and Sophia unhappily walks up and pulls away from the hand Olivia and I are holding. I hold Olivia, who is about to fall, from behind and patiently explain. Sophia misunderstood. I didn't come here to make up with you. It's over between us and I don't want to disturb your date with Nathan. I'm sorry. I pull Olivia out of the office. In front of us, walking out the door, a glass shattered at my feet. I say to Ethan, this is my last chance for you. If you don't come and coax me, I won't forgive you easily. Senior. Olivia gripped my shirt tightly, her eyes filled with worry. It's like she's afraid I'll give in. I couldn't help but smile and gently stroked her head. Didn't you say you were going to go shopping at your alma mater? Just the moment the office door closed, there was a loud banging sound from inside. Being back on campus again, my mood was completely different from when I left before. Once I was so full of the belief of true love that I was willing to suffer in silence even if I was beaten to death. In order to give Sophia a warm home, I had to fight my way through the cruel underground boxing ring. My wrist was gently tapped twice, and I came back to my senses. Seeing my schoolmate's clear and moving smile with obvious admiration in her eyes made my heart flutter. Olivia stretched out her finger and pointed to the study room in front of her and said, in fact, I had met my senior brother before I went to graduate school. At that time, I went to school to look for a friend and didn't notice that I had my period. When I saw him, he took off his lab coat and covered me up. I thought to myself, I can't let such a gentle and handsome boy go. Suddenly a thought flashed through my mind, remembering that lively and sloppy girl outside the lab. It's a pity that Senior already has a girlfriend, but I decided to come here anyway, wanting to get closer to Senior. I also wanted to see just how outstanding the girl Senior liked was. But right now, she doesn't seem that special, and doesn't quite match the Senior. Under my somewhat surprised gaze, Olivia gently tugged on my collar and asked me seriously, so can I take this opportunity to get a little closer to Senior now? Although her tone sounded calm, I could feel that she was actually a little nervous inside. Her ears were so red that they looked like they were about to drip blood. It's still not possible. I gently pushed her away and took a step back. Eyes instantly red. Olivia bites her bottom lip and slowly turns around. I pulled her back and gently wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. I just ended a relationship, and accepting you now wouldn't be fair to me or our relationship. Can you give me some time? Olivia suddenly smiled as if she had been hit by a pie. After that, I often asked her out and slowly got to know her better. She is really a simple and lovely girl. Watching Olivia engrossed in fishing crane machines, my heart was filled with warmth. Brother, I caught another one, she said. She stuffed another one into her arms full of dolls. There's too many, I can barely hold them. Olivia poked her tongue out mischievously before turning to the owner for a bag. Ethan, what are you doing here? I look up and there in front of me is Sophia, but Nathan isn't there. Sophia doesn't really like childish places like this, and I can't really think of a reason for her to come to the playground other than Nathan. She saw my confused look and stepped forward to explain. A friend told me I saw you here. She frowned and changed the subject. Why have you been avoiding me lately? You don't even reply to the messages I send. Other than work, I don't think I have anything to talk to Sophia about. How could there not be? Have you forgotten that we're getting married soon? Didn't you see the ones I posted in my friend circle? Sophia frowned slightly, a bit of anger in her eyes, and handed her phone's friend circle interface to me. On it was written the date of our wedding. There was no expression on my face, just looking down at the screen. I'm sorry, I'm not used to following my ex-girlfriend's social circle. As for getting married, I wasn't responsible for marrying my ex-girlfriend either. Seeing Olivia, who nervously ran over not far away, I reached out and took her into my arms. Actually, I already have a girlfriend. Ethan, there has to be a limit to acting. Sophia's face suddenly turns sour and annoyingly reaches out to get Olivia out of the way. Instead, I blocked her hand back in time. Sophia, as I've said many times before, we've broken up. I don't want to play this chasing game with you anymore. As for your friend circle, I suggest you delete it earlier so that you don't feel embarrassed in the future. Not wanting to say anything more, I ignored Sophia's trance-like and hurt look and turned around to help Olivia fix her messy hair. Let's go. As if finally understanding my attitude, Sophia panicked and blocked me, a puzzled look on her face. You were so fond of me before, how could you change all of a sudden? If you can like someone else, can I find someone else? Stop making me feel like a fool. Sophia's face changed quickly, sometimes red, sometimes green, and for a while she couldn't speak. To keep her out of the way, I pushed her out of the way and led Olivia to the car. Just then, Olivia gently pulled down on my finger and came to my ear with an expectant face. Elder brother, you said I'm your girlfriend. Is that true? I grabbed her finger that was ready to pull away and smiled slightly. Really, I'm your girlfriend. Since then, Sophia hasn't contacted me again. Even when work was handed over, we just kept a cold distance between us. I could feel the hurt hidden in her eyes and the words she wanted to say but didn't when I left, but I chose to ignore it all. After days of patience, Sophia called me one rainy evening. It was rare for her to confide in me, and she sounded a bit resigned with a bit of a nasal and crying tone in her voice. Ethan, I have a fever and a stomach flu right now, and I feel terrible. Can you come back and stay with me? I want to drink the skin and egg-thin pork porridge you made. Can you rub my stomach? I haven't taken my medicine yet. Can you prepare it for me? This is how you took care of me before when I was sick. Maybe she wanted to test the waters, or maybe she was really a bit confused because of the fever. Sophia's requests became more and more excessive. What's wrong? Olivia turned her head and asked me when she saw my face look bad, and Sophia seemed to be irritated by something. Her voice became harsh all of a sudden and came out through the microphone. Who are you? Don't hang around my boyfriend. We're getting married soon. You stay away from him. He's mine. I stopped Sophia's screaming by comforting the startled Olivia with one hand, my tone becoming serious. Olivia is my girlfriend. Sophia is so frustrating. If you have a fever, you should go to the hospital and leave me alone on my date with my girlfriend. What? Nathan didn't accompany you? Hearing me say that, Sophia couldn't help but feel a little sad. Her voice was tinged with aggravation. She complained, no, the porridge he made wasn't as good as yours, and he didn't rub my tummy with enough force. I'm really not feeling well. I know I'm wrong. Ethan, please come back and stay with me. I don't want Nathan to stay with me anymore. Can you? Sophia, I've been trying to take care of you, and you keep complaining about me. I even burned my hand trying to make you kanji. You actually called your ex-boyfriend. How can you afford to treat me like this? On the other end of the phone, Nathan chided with great disappointment. Suddenly there was a loud bang and Sophia's cell phone seemed to have been knocked off. I didn't want to get involved in this mess anymore, so I hung up and turned off my cell phone. Sophia was sick last time and didn't come to the office for a few days. It was actually quite good for me because the collaboration was almost over and I didn't want to be polite with her at the end. After the cooperation ended, Olivia and I had planned to go back to the head office, but because we did a good job this time, we also accidentally attracted a few investments, and as a result, we were both promoted and continued to stay in the country as the head of the research lab. It seems that we will have to stay in the country to live in the future. Olivia mischievously winks at me, her tone a bit suggestive. Humph, doesn't this give some people a chance? I clenched my fist and covered my mouth. I couldn't help but laugh. Don't worry, I only like you one right now. I won't give others a chance. However, since I decided to stay in the country for development in the future, there are some things that I should start working on. 2 weeks later, I took Olivia to see a house in an upscale neighborhood. While contacting the sale, Olivia held her cell phone down. She sighed softly and said with a little bit of heartache, Senior, I don't need a house to prove your love for me. We can live well even if we rent a house. No matter where we live, as long as you are there, everywhere is our home. She spoke powerfully and touched the softest part of my heart. Buying a house is not only Sophia's dream, but slowly it has become my pursuit as well. I wanted to give my beloved a home where she could truly feel safe, not just talk about love. I placed a soft kiss on Olivia's forehead and thought to myself, you really are worth it. 7 years of waiting is proof enough of her true heart. However, at the sales office, I unexpectedly met Sophia and Nathan. The two seemed to be in a heated argument, and Nathan had a visible slap mark on his face, and had been blocking Sophia's entrance into the sales office. Sophia looked like she was in bad shape, wearing a hospital gown that she hadn't had time to change into, and her face was pale. When she turned her head and saw me, a glimmer of hope flashed in her eyes, and she immediately rushed over to grab my arm. Ethan, why are you here? You came to see the house too, right? Do you still remember our previous agreement? Seeing how easily she seemed to come over, I gently but firmly shook her hand away. Today I came to see the house with my girlfriend. My face was so red just now, and now it's so white that it's worrying. Sophia asked in a surprised whisper, am I going to buy her a house? I didn't respond. I just asked Sophia to get out of the way. No way, Ethan. Since you came to buy the house, it means you still have me in your heart. You remember what I told you, right? Don't call me Sophia. Can you call me like before? I know I'm wrong. Ethan, can you forgive me? You've been able to put up with it many times before. Why do you have to break up with me this time? I come to you now, and my tone is not as intense as before. Sophia's voice sounded pleading, as if she was just a fragile woman abandoned by her beloved. I muttered softly before pushing her away. After being pushed away from me, Sophia staggered twice and fell into Nathan's arms. Nathan glared at me angrily, then turned his head to Sophia in his arms and said, "I told you before, Ethan doesn't like you anymore, Sophia. I'm the only one who really likes you now and is always there for you. No, it can't be. It must be you. It's all because of you bad-hearted person who attracted my Ethan. Give him back to me." Sophia instantly had tears in her eyes and angrily rushed towards Olivia. With one hand, I scooped Olivia into my arms and quickly avoided Sophia. Sophia didn't have time to turn around before she slammed into the door frame of the sales room. My face sinks as I use one hand to pick Sophia up with a swollen forehead and throw her at Nathan. Even as I pull her through the pain, Sophia just stares blankly into my face. My tone gets cold and says clearly that Olivia is the love of my life, and if Sophia wants to hurt her then I'm not going to be nice. I'm done with you. Please leave me alone. Honestly, Sophia, every time you show up, it only makes me resent you more. Do you hate me that much? Sophia said with trembling lips. I gave her a casual look and said, I don't have any hatred for you and I don't want to waste any more feelings on you. Sophia suddenly stopped breathing and looked at me with tears in her eyes, like she was about to break down. When I turned around and walked into the sales office, she suddenly ran over to me and shoved a card into my hand. I turned around with a surprised look on my face and saw Sophia smiling harder than she was crying. She said, "These are all the money I transferred from your house purchase earlier, and now I'm giving it back to you." I clutched the card in my hand tightly and was silent. All this money from fighting in the underground boxing, almost 10 million, but it was all transferred away by Sophia using various reasons to buy Nathan designer suits, jewelry, and watches. I really know I was wrong, Ethan. I shouldn't have given Nathan the money you wanted to use to buy a house and get married, but the fact that you're too busy in the ring every day to spend any time with me is what makes me so helpless to speak. Sophia tries to speak, but is pulled away by an angry Nathan. Sophia, you said before that you wanted me to deposit that money with you as company working capital, but it turns out that you just want me to give the money back to Ethan. Those are my things. How can you give them to him without my consent? Give me my stuff back. Nathan was so angry that he raised his fist towards me, and Olivia immediately stepped in front of me when she saw this. In the panic, I kicked Nathan, who hadn't gotten close enough, and knocked him down. Nathan looked up in pain and got slapped in the face before he could even slow down. I asked him, "Have you made enough of a scene? I gave you those things. They were just trinkets to pass the time. How can you hurt my Ethan?" Sophia looked at Nathan condescendingly, then turned around with another confused look on her face. After some thought, I casually throw the card Sophia gave me back at Nathan and shake my head decisively. I don't want any of this money and I'm not going to use it to buy a home for me and Olivia. Sophia, it's better if you take care of Nathan yourself and don't come back to me. Sophia stood there less than happily, watching Olivia and I pick out a house through the glass window. We picked out Olivia's favorite floor plan, and I took out a new card and handed it to her, then kissed Olivia gently on the lips. From now on, this will be our home. The look of jealousy on Sophia's face instantly disappeared, leaving only a pallor. After a while, bright red blood flowed from the corner of her mouth, and when the crowd panicked, she fainted. 6 months later, a friend of Sophia's approached me. She had stomach cancer, and the brain metastasis seemed to have caused memory confusion, and now cried out my name every day when she was confused. I gave a soft Sophia had gastritis before, and I went to a lot of trouble to make nourishing meals for her to eat healthy, only to have her throw away all the meals I worked so hard to prepare in order to accompany Nathan on his date. Wherever they went out, they ate fast food that looked good but wasn't nutritious. Coupled with a less regular routine, it was only a matter of time before they got seriously sick. I just didn't expect it to get this bad. Seeing that I did not answer, she was not willing, and asked again, "Well, at least you guys have had a time before, don't you want to go see her?" But she has nothing to do with me now, and I'm planning to get married. I don't have time to care about my ex-girlfriend. After the people left, I checked Sophia's friends circle. The wedding news she posted earlier was still on top and hadn't been removed. I deleted her and focused on starting to prepare for Olivia's wedding, thinking that I must have the best wedding for her. While trying on wedding dresses, I received a message from a friend. Sophia had died, and she woke up pulling Nathan down the stairs. She gave me a bank card to pass on to you. That was rough. I frowned as I hacked the guy and turned to straighten the suit I was wearing, then walked out and gave Olivia, who was still putting on her makeup, a hug. "What's going on?" Through the mirror, I saw the girl in my arms in her wedding dress, and she looked so beautiful that I was awestruck. She exudes a gentle scent that gradually calms all the worries in my heart. I leaned against the side of her neck and took a deep breath. I couldn't help but smile and sigh. Honey, you're so beautiful. I'd love to bring you home as soon as possible.